Tesla update here on the 28th. So just looking at this formation into the supply zone, this is an ABC move right here. We're currently in the middle of that. It's probably going to end today sometime. There's two different possibilities. Either this turns into an extension. So if this was A, B, C for a second wave extension, and this ends up being the first wave, and it goes like this. That's the first possibility. Or this was a top, and we're starting off the correction with a ABC expanded flat. If that's the case, that would rule out one of the moves that I talked about in a previous video, which is down back to here. That would actually support this being a second wave pullback potentially. And it could start off with an expanded flat, you know, bounce back up here like that, and then eventually come back down here to like 235, 240. Buy the dip. It could even come all the way down here to 214. If it really wanted to, it would still be considered a second wave. I still don't like the end of this move, but I guess you can say this is a diagonal. But overall, I'll just be watching how this C wave ends. I want to see what happens from here. If this ends up being a extension, then I want to see an impulse move right away. I want to see this down here. I want to see an impulse after this. My target on that impulse would be minimum 278.40. If it did that, I would just imagine that it's going to minimally hit this parallel line right here, which is a parallel line I drew from the bottom here, put it up here in the top, for this potentially being an ABC move. Like that. But you also have this 290 gap fill up here as well. So I'll be watching that if this does end up turning into a 5-wave move. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to say. This is in a big supply zone for monthly supply. Let's take a look at the options. I've been seeing a lot of puts, but then again, you have people selling puts. I have this on 200,000. Let's go over 500,000. Let's do 1 million actually. So the biggest buys here are puts 1.54 million, selling calls 7.73 million. They sold 321, 300 calls. Another put, another sold call, and now you have a sold put. So, and then you have a put down here, 1.26 million. You have a few calls they bought, another sold call, and then calls earlier in the morning. So it's leaning towards puts right here. Doesn't necessarily mean that this is the top though. You have to take into factor all the previous ones that they had bought and sold over the last couple of days. Those could play into it. But this is definitely leaning bearish. So let's see what happens from here. I want to see after this ABC move ends where it goes from there. Is it going to turn into a extension? Or is it going to turn into just a chop down here and eventually probably end with an impulse move back down here for a second wave? So that's it for Tesla right now. We're still waiting to get some confirmation on which way it's going to go. I'll update you when I see something happen that requires an update. All right, have a good day.